Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode from Page to Stage. Now, this is a bit of a different one. I'm being interviewed. So I have somebody who's interviewing me about a new book coming out. So this is where I pass the microphone over to Richard and say, okay, Richard, just give us a hint as to why you're interviewing me, and over to you for asking your questions, sir.
Okay, welcome and thank you again, Wendy. So, in short, you are releasing another book. And this little podcast is to introduce the fact that you are releasing this book, because you can't really interview yourself, can you?
It's a bit hard.
And so I thought, why not ask you a few little questions and put you on the hot seat and see what wonderful gems you can share with your audience.
Okay, thank you. Audience, have you got the scene now? You know where we're going with this one? Okay, Richard, over to you.
Okay, I think they're good. Okay, so a few months ago, you launched book number 1, Hoarder to Hand Luggage. And
Correct.
so with the success of book number 1, your solo book writing career actually formally began. But what's prompted you to write book number 2?
What prompted me to write book 2? Well, first off, my father used to say I do things arse about face. And whilst Hoarder to Hand Luggage is book 1 in the series, this one's book 5. So we're kind of doing things in a little bit. Okay, put it this way. Do you remember Star Wars had something and then came off with a prequel and then did things all over the place? Well, if they can do it, so can I. So this is actually book 5. And when I started to write From Hoarder to Hand Luggage, I was running a group, an accountability mastermind group called From Promise to Page, and I was joining in as one of the participants. And the feedback I got from folks was, Wendy, there's far too much information for one book. Split it into a series. I went, oh, okay. And whilst the friendship one wasn't on my radar to start with, one of the participants who knows me very well said, you travel the world on your own, solo, and yet you seem to have friends in every port. How do you do it? How do you work up these friendships across the world? Friendship would be a really good topic for you to share about. How about that for one of the books? Okay. I took on the challenge. And this is where book number 5, I get by with a lot of help from my friends, comes in.
Lovely. So what is it really all about?
I kind of do a deep dive and almost like a forensic look as to what is a friendship. Because for me, there are different levels of friendship. I worked with young people with intellectual disability and or autism for many, many years. And particularly the autistic folk, we were looking at the circles of influence. Who's in your circle of influence? How much do you share with them as you go out from me personally down to family and friends, around to friends, to acquaintances, that sort of thing. So I was looking at it from that perspective as to how much do we share? How do we admit somebody into an inner sanctum? So I was looking at that, and I'm also looking at it from the perspective of 4 subconscious questions that we ask ourselves. And we're not necessarily aware of these, which is why they're subconscious. But this is what happens every time we meet somebody. We kind of do a vulnerability scan, a safety scan, if you will. And so I dig into that a bit. That concept is not original to me. I fully reference the wonderful person who came up with that. So that's the kind of framework I'm going from. Does that answer your question?
It does. But is it more about fiction, non-fiction, your autobiography? How is it really made up? Because there's obviously so many different directions you can take it in.
Yeah, I could, and I have. No, it's kind of a Well, going through the framework, it's more on a self-help level, and there are reflective questions at the end of each chapter, just like there were with hoarder to hand luggage. But I'm also giving personal anecdotes in there, which are mostly amusing. I give illustrations of the different levels, how some people, you have lifelong friends, some people have that level of friendship that can tell you, yes, your bum does look big in this, and you take it because you trust them, and they wouldn't have offered it to you if they didn't think it would be taken in the way it was intended. Fellas listening to this, careful. That's a tough one to migrate, to navigate. It's easier for the girls to do it, just saying. So so it's kind of a memoir, kind of a bit of, and it's also looking at cultural differences, because for those people who've picked up the fact that I'm traveling the world, there are different ways of relating in different cultures. For some people, the are you safe? Well, clearly I don't look like the people that I'm talking to. So they've got all sorts of other questions that they want to ask. And particularly in Asia, give me that example for a minute. Asian folk are direct. None of the airs and graces and fluff of the British etiquette. No, they will get straight to the point. Cannot. And to start with, that was a case of, oh, right, that feels a little confronting. So what I'm giving you there is examples of how things are done differently around the world as well, in terms of the getting to know you process. Because if you haven't traveled widely, it can be a shock.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's clear what readers can actually get out of it, and I'm sure that there's lots and lots more that they can gain from it. But what do you hope to gain from publishing your book number 5?
What do I hope to gain from it? Well, again, it was like Hoarder. It was a journey of transformation, a journey of discovery, because I knew all the theory stuff a bit, but it's only when I was digging into it for myself and bringing those unconscious things more to the surface, talking about them, finding the illustrations, that I got really reconnected with the people concerned. And for some of the relationships that ended up having to be let go, there was a bit more grief to go, and there were a lot of smiles and memories of happy times, and it was cathartic for me as well. So yes, the primary reason for doing it was to share the concept of friendship and dig into that a bit more consciously. But yes, there was I did it for me as well moment or for.
Excellent. No, fantastic. And what other books have you actually got in you that are on your radar to produce? Because obviously you said that you're on doing a release book number 5, but this is technically the second one that you're actually to release to the outside world.
Correct.
Is it just these 5? Will there be more? What are these 5? So many questions.
These 5 are the series at the moment. Now, so the series will be, there's the second book in the series, which will probably not be the next one. There are all sorts of reasons why not. The second one will be about my adventures with my 20 kilos. So that's looking at all the different places I've been to, some of the things that have happened, the fun things, the somewhat challenging things with gastric issues and customs queues and all sorts of other things on that front. So that's going to be about the second book, about the adventures, and that's more of a travel log and a what if you're going to go into this country, watch out for this, that sort of thing. The third book in the series is looking at the mental stuff to let go of, that I've let go of, and that has been so important, because until I let go of some of the mental stories, the internal scripts as I call them, I was not able to let go of all the physical stuff. And in that process of working through it, I've developed a framework, and that will be the rewire process that I will talk about in that book. Then the fourth book in the series is around spirituality. How intentional, again, it's kind of a memoir thing, as to how intentional I have become, rather than just going on all the cues around me, and where am I with my higher power? What's my relationship? What am I doing to maintain and expand on that? Now, for me, I'm an active Christian. It's not for everyone. I'm not preaching in that book. It's simply asking questions. What do you believe? Is that your belief system, or have you absorbed it from other people? Again, reflective. So that's the 5 books in the Letting Go, Living Lighter series. Will there be others? I was having a little hissy fit about all the beeps. One of the places I was staying in is a smart home. And there was a beep going off here, and a beep going off there, and a beep going off here, there, and everyone going, what the is that beep for? And the person whose house it was went, that sounds like a good title. So there may be another book coming out after that in terms of reflecting on modern life. I don't know. It's percolating. I want to get these 5 up first.
Yes. Yes. No, interesting. There's so many more questions I'd love to ask you, but one that I'm going to sort of dive on into that I think will at least bring a smile to your face and that of many readers is, if an alien with no knowledge of friendship was to read your book, how would it change their perspective of the human race?
Oh, now that's a good one. That's a really good one. Okay. Now, aliens are, I'm assuming, I don't know any personally, they're going to be looking at things purely from a surface level, because a bit like AI, dare I mention it, it doesn't feel, it doesn't have that sense of humanity. I know AI is coming that way, but at the moment, it's very surface level. What I'm aiming to do with the book is for an alien looking in, should they wish to do so, to have a perception, a bit of an insight into the depth of human feeling that can go up and down, and how things relate, how people relate to each other, really, whether consciously or not, and how to then, when you bring it to consciousness, are you going to do things differently? Are you going to have a new awareness of it? And maybe an alien would be going, they do that? Really? Why? And they could ask another question. But then again, that would be the getting into the more conscious level, bringing the unconscious to the surface. Does that answer your question?
Well, it answers my question in the fact that you've given an answer. It's important, obviously, to sort of see where your thoughts go and what it means. It's like one of the things that I've actually sort of thought about fairly recently, since actually reading your book, that when it's our time to sort of to release these corporeal bodies, shall we say, like somebody else is going to have to pick up the pieces of what we leave behind. And
Yes.
whether that is in terms of different aspects of our life that we might leave behind, or whether it's focused on our possessions, somebody's going to have to take those and actually dispose of them,
Yeah.
allocate them out, and do something with them. And it always makes me wonder who would deal with mine, for example, and what would they do with them? And
Yeah.
if they weren't around, who would then deal with it? What was it? Yep. And so, a question for us all to consider. And
Yes.
obviously, a big part of the going from hoarder to hand luggage, combined with all of the different friends that you have on all corners of the globe, that makes it an even more interesting question, if you like, on an interesting perspective to consider about how everything that you've got is actually going to spread, if you like, and how it could change those people's lives and what else
Yeah.
can come from that. And so it's just an interesting angle, and wondered what your thoughts were.
Good thinking on that one. I mean, most of us have a roof over our heads, and we have possessions, and we have a will, and we're going to distribute this to that person and this to that person. I think because I've got only the 20 kilos, true, I do have certain treasured items in people's lofts in Perth. The intention was that people would use the items, but when I went back in July, I discovered no, they were all sitting there in their lofts and they didn't want to use them because it was mine, not theirs. I'm going, the whole point was only get used. Anyway, another matter. My point is that when you don't have much stuff at all, then it's not a big job. I mean, one of the things that Hoarder really showed me was going through my in-laws stuff. I mean, okay, I couldn't give two figs about the tax receipts back to 1965. The photo albums that had no captions, didn't know who they were, the fact that there was no family left to pass them on to, and as there were no captions anyway, who are they and what relevance is it to anyone? So apart from having a bit of a smile when it came to some of the fashions, what was important to one generation, I'm looking at and going, so? And I think that's the big thing for me, the realization that what we consider is important is exactly that, what we consider is important. And it may have no relevance at all to the next generation.
Fantastic. Well, I'm very much looking forward to having a read of your book and getting to see even more wonderful gems that are tucked away within it. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add, but I just wanted to wish you luck with book number 2/5, whichever way you want to say it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, one of the things that I need to let people know is when it's coming out.
Yes.
We are looking to it being published before the end of September. That's September 2025. And there's a reason for that. 2025, I hit 60. So this is a celebration of all the beautiful friends that have helped me to get to this place in my life, because those of you who know me know I have very few family members left. And it's my chosen family in my friends that have helped me to get this far. So look out. There will be extra information coming out all on the socials as to when we're actually launching it. But I wanted to let you know today because this is an important week for me. My birthday week. So yes, thank you very much, everybody, that this is your part of it.
Thank you ever so much. And we're all pleased to be part of it. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Richard. From us on Page to Stage, bye for now.